Yeah.
Nope, that's all right. Trying to make sure we.
Jeff? No, he stopped raising his hand. Okay.
Okay, so 5 Common Street, again, the siding to be determined. We also mentioned the basement windows. Those are basically
Yep.
the only buildings left over there. They're not thermal pane. We all walked through the doghouse and the set of stairs headed downstairs that we had talked about. We've also discussed the roof and the copper and cast iron replacement, I should say, with the plumbing in the building.
I say depending upon the siding replacement costs for both buildings, that one could be done second. If it comes high.
5 Common. Did it like phase 1, phase 2?
Well, yeah, depending on the cost. If it comes back to $20,000 for both of them, I think we could fit it, but if it's
Yeah. Right.
60,000 for that one and 30,000 for this one. Is someone calling?
No, I just realized the microphone's not
It's too close together.
making sure I'm picking everybody up.
It's Jeff. I don't know if you guys can hear me now.
Yes, we
I raised
can.
the hand. Yeah, all right. I raised my hand because you guys were on mute, so I couldn't hear you, but it sounds like you got off mute.
Great.
Oh, Grace.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, everything else, I think's worthy. Not too much of a cost. I mean, the roof can be, if we get down to it, we're close on the 30,000, maybe we can push it off. But we don't want it to get too moldy up there if there's water getting in. We don't want to have to replace the
Gotta fix it.
sheeting underneath.
You can't have a leaky roof.
Yeah.
When do you see replacing that building?
11 Lafayette,
No, 5 Common.
5 Common.
Yeah.
Not for a while.
But now the 9 Albion roof. That can wait a little bit, right?
Let's talk about 11 Lafayette first.
Oh, I jumped over 11 Lafayette. I'm sorry.
So the parking space construction, you all saw basically where we cast off all the public works trucks.
Yep.
Like I was saying to some of you outside, that's a ZBA conversation I have to have, and it's honestly two pulls with an asphalt spreader. When we're in the area, we'll have our due diligence done to be able to accomplish it at the same time. I would recommend pausing on that for now.
Okay.
To the chagrin of my building staff, but it only makes sense to time that up when we're in the area.
That's the parking space?
Yes.
Yeah, but there's no cost on here. Oh, you don't have any cost for Lafayette right now, right?
No, we removed that.
Oh, removed everything?
The only thing, I don't know if anybody has an opinion on the front railings.
We should do it. Is that just for the railing, the 11,000?
Be railing and repointing the stairs.
Oh, the 6,000. Oh, I see 11.
6,000, that sounds steep, though.
You gotta rebuild those stairs.
Pointing the stairs?
Only a little bit of repointing though, right? Just one step.
Yeah, they didn't look
2
too,
steps
up
and
the top.
Okay.
You repoint the whole thing, but the top just needed a little repair. I didn't think it was that bad.
I feel like all the money in that's probably the wroght iron that
Yeah.
you'd have to get.
And if we
But
get.
that's not $6,000. That's like 2, right?
I didn't price it. I'm not.
If there's chimney work to be done too, should we put it in this number so that the mason can do both, or is that?
Not for $6,000. I think $6,000 for that stairs sounds right.
No, I'm saying if we're
A
gonna,
couple thousand a day for.
But the
3 days.
chimney also.
if we do the chimney too, maybe up.
With the chimney, yeah.
The chimney though, I meh, I would say at this point in time, it's one or the other. Our operating budget could take care of the chimney on.
Okay,
Probably bring that in, either a mason or roofer.
Yeah.
Even something, get a couple of them together and get a better project out of it.
Spot point.
I'd say bump the front railing in over there, though, get that fixed. Then I guess keep the other 2 on hold.
You're including the front railing?
Yeah, right now the numbers not, didn't carry over under this column, so technically it's not in our total yet.
We're supposed to be taking things out.
What's that?
So we're supposed to be taking things out.
It's only 6,000.
I'm just kidding. I know. It's only $6,000.
Next building on down the list, 9 Albion. Base building. We start with the roof for 85. The fire alarm panel, I did get an updated price on this, to replace it is going to be $15,000.
15?
Wow.
You have that on here?
Yep.
You already, from 30 down to 15. Oh, that's good.
The alarm company came out and looked at it, and based off of when they pulled the panel open to take a look inside of it, there's not a heck of a lot wired into it, make it overly complicated, so that reflects in the price change.
And you said the major issue with that was false alarms?
So what it's doing now is it's tripping, whether there's a short in it or something, and it's calling out the fire department and our staff in the middle of the night to reset it. Yep. As you remember with Chris's, a couple different alarm companies looked at it, and all of them get to the end of it, and the recommendation is replace the panel.
How critical is the roof on this? And in fact, I don't remember this from last year. This didn't show up last year, did it?
Nope, this is new. I would say this is something, if not done this year, you're probably looking at it in the next 2 years.
So it's not leaking.
It's leaking, it's being patched. The worst roof that I've seen in the last couple of years was the flat roof at the Civic Center. That was something that we handled last year.
As bad as that.
That's done.
That's
Yeah.
correct. No, this is not as bad as that.
So, can this wait?
I would think that it could probably wait this year. I would say that you'll probably see it again next year, if not the year after.
Is the top floor used?
Storage only.
Storage only? I haven't been in there in a while. The question is too, I don't know what if cultural grants or anything might be.
We've done most of that building so far with grants.
Right.
So that could be part of the grant. I would definitely do the fire alarm though and the
Sump pump.
sump pump in the basement.
Yeah, those sound critical. What about ADA?
That's the problem with using the second floor.
But from the street?
There is, the ADA will be worked on. It may be a back entrance, maybe a front entrance, but we have some grant funding for that. So absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so the roof, could we just defer it? Take it out completely?
I think you're okay with that for this.
Yeah. Take it out, maybe we'll look at it next year. How's that? Like that? We get rid of it. Big chunk.
Good job, I like that.
You might know the answer to this. Earmark requests through Senator Lewis's office. Are you capped with how many that you can have there?
Usually they'll give you up to 3 requests for $100,000 each.
Would it hurt our chances if I wrote a letter for both the AmeriCal and the ACE building?
I already put in the ACE building. No, I already put in AmeriCal.
Okay. So then maybe I'll write the letter for the ACE building?
Yeah.
Okay. So stay tuned on that one.
And that would be for the roof?
Yes.
Okay.
It'd come under a different type of bucket though. I mean.
Yeah, we can talk
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
So you're taking out the roof at 9 Albany?
Yes.
Could it also take care of the basement sump pump since that, if it's $100,000, actually could take, or the fire alarm?
That's only 7,500. Oh, you mean to do everything with the
Well,
grant?
it
No.
adds up, yeah. To do 2 things with the grant, the roof and the fire alarm, or no, you would just do one item.
I would probably, you could try. I don't know. It all depends on whether or not they pass it as part of the budget, really. So you're rolling a little bit of the dice. If I was gonna roll a little bit of the dice on any of this, it would probably be the sump pump. Just because, God forbid, if my group had to do that, we probably could. Yeah, we could find a way to fit that. I think the alarm, what happened with the alarm is every call out, it's nickel and diming, the overtime budget.
But yeah, totally, yeah.
So if we could
Sometimes
stop
the
with-
that needs to be-
grants don't
yeah,
come
yeah,
out
yeah.
until so late too in the year.
And you can only do one item.
Well, no, you can do, I would just say repairs to the building. You know,
Similar to some of the civic centers.
yeah. Sometimes it's a round that doesn't come out until November. So it's like you kind of went through so with the alarm and the sump pump, I think I'd keep those
The
two.
thing with the alarm is that I think you could ask for more money. If there's a ghost trouble on a wire, replacing the panel's not gonna clear it, right? So I've had this happen where I had trouble that never went away. So the fire department, and it was a wire they had to trace. So the panel may cost 15, but you may need extra money to try to find, if there's an issue outside, unless they know it's the panel that's the problem.
Pretty sure they know it's the panel. I'll confirm it before we talk
Yeah.
next time, though. It's so limited. The old bank was there. It's that main display area. That's where most of your devices are. I don't think there's anything upstairs. If there is, it's
It's
probably at
not
the
like miles,
stairwells.
right, like
No,
you'd
that's-
have to, if you had a wire or something again,
You know, on a
okay.
zero of, on a scale of 1 to 10, this project's 2 or 3.
Yeah, okay, I've never been in the building.
We can take a field trip there.
One a year.
One a year, yeah.
Onto the Yule, the roof, for 150. This is honestly probably something similar to the Ace building. I don't think it's a need yesterday. I don't think it's a need now. It could be a need in the future, but you know, maybe there has to be a conversation on
Yep.
what the future of that building looks like as well.
Is it rubber roof,
Yes.
not tar and gravel?
You know, there might be a ballasted piece to it, but I believe the majority of it.
And do we know how old the existing roof is?
I would think either original to the building or 1970s, 80s vintage.
And we just have a lot of roofs we're punting, so I'd rather try to split up some of these roofs if we can afford any of them.
But they're the
Come up at the same
first
time.
year, the first year on here, right? Both of
Have
these.
10 roofs because we've been so even, planning one, whatever, would be great because there's a couple more roofs in this.
When's the
List.
lease? When's the lease up on this? You think? Just thinking we could pass some of this on.
Trying to think if they go year to year or if it's 3 years. I'll check on the lease term on that. I don't know off the top, because it goes to the school department, because they haven't gotten rid of it yet.
Sure.
They still keep it in their portfolio,
Yeah,
so to
their
speak.
portfolio.
I mean, the town council signs off it, but I don't, but they,
Yeah.
So it's not like a commercial lease where it's not like a typical,
no, I
commercial
mean,
lease
it's,
in a building like
it's
this?
it's the SEAM collaborative, so we actually are also a sender of students there, so it's kind of a.
okay.
Yeah, okay. Because if you don't want to defer the roof, or if it's the boiler, let's talk about the boiler, I guess. How
So-
critical that is.
Yep, the boilers are original.
Oh,
The boiler at that school is the only one that is oil fed right now. Currently, the tenant is paying for the oil. So again, begs the question, if we keep that and that becomes a long-term hold, then it probably makes sense to retrofit that to natural gas.
At that point.
Yes.
It's part of this replacement.
At 120.
It's part of this replacement converted.
Yes.
So not,
Yeah,
yeah,
that would be for gas fired
New
boilers.
burner.
There's gas in the street right there.
And then the tenant's going to pay for gas,
Right now, the tenant pays for oil.
right?
So you don't have to do anything, really. This has just been marked as, it's the only oil fired building we have, and the boilers are original to the building.
But they'll still take care of that payment of that utility, basically.
The question is, do you want to make an investment in something that, you know, maybe, are they there, are they not there? Does the town end up declaring that surplus and deciding that they don't want to use it anymore? That's probably a larger question to be had.
does it work, the boiler? Is it functioning?
They work fine.
Yeah,
Oh,
They function now.
and
You know, they're not the most efficient thing. If that was town hall, I would say definitely, you know, let's do that. You know, we've been pretty good about all the rest of our buildings and schools. You know, everything's redundant and gas fed. This one,
do they use the whole building?
yes, I believe so.
and so
Who's the tenant again?
Seem collaborative?
you don't receive calls on a regular basis to,
I don't think so. I mean, here and there, I'm sure, you know, start up in the beginning
In the
of the
beginning of
year.
season,
But
yeah.
it's not something that, you know, I hear quite often from our group. You know, it's not like it's something we're visiting all the time and it's become a sieve of budgetary funds.
so what's the average lifespan of a gas boiler? I would assume 20, either somewhere between 10 and 20 years.
Probably.
So if we don't know what this is gonna be in 5 years, it doesn't make sense to invest it in that at
Yeah.
this point. That's my opinion.
I like giving them the signs. Let's give them the exit signs and fix the roof and the boiler.
Who maintains it?
Custodial. Capital,
So like we would know, like, do we have eyes on the boiler on an annual basis to tune
Clean
it up?
it.
So we'd be able to identify if the
so, Mike,
boiler's
the
like,
gentleman that was talking to Frank in the reflective jacket, he's our HVAC mechanic, there's him and another gentleman that would go there and service all of that.
They service all the boilers.
okay.
Yep. Jake's been around, he was master with all the old tube fed ones and things like that.
Yep.
It's the new stuff he doesn't like so much.
No, the old
Yeah.
stuff, it takes a while for them usually to like totally like, I'm not gonna jinx anything, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, did the group have any opinion on the roof with the Ewell School before we move on?
I think we said-
I would say let's
Defer it.
punt on that and the boiler. We just kill them both right now? Keep everyone okay with the exit signs? Is that,
It's fine.
Steve, to get rid of the paper ones? Is that Chris? Who told us that? Was that Chris who told us about the paper
Yeah.
Are they
sign?
paper ones there? I don't think so.
No, they're not paper.
Yeah,
It's not illuminated.
it's not illuminated.
Probably a very nice, like, Formica.
Yeah.
Okay, one request at the high school is the ceiling tile replacement. If you remember, that's the picture of the hallway Chris showed.
Is that just for materials or is that, and you guys, the school department do it, or is that to have them replaced by somebody?
I can't remember what we said in the meeting, if I'm being candid.
That's a lot of ceiling tile. Is that like the whole hallway or?
Yeah, I'm not at my regular machine with my notes on me, but
That's all
I
right.
think he gave us a square footage number in that hallway.
It's not gonna hurt our chances of getting a new school, right, Steve, if we
If we
put in
spend
some new
12
ceiling tiles?
10 grand on ceiling.
I think it's an operating expense. That's what I think.
I agree, but we'll find out,
Ceiling.
when we find out where we are and what we
Yeah.
still have to cut, then we can go back to the
Go back
smaller items.
for now.
Yeah.
So we're keeping it?
For now.
For now,
And
the ceiling tiles, yeah.
Yeah, this is round 2 of 5 or something like that.
so if you remember the Woodville School, the water heater, this is to just procure the parts needed to replace it. And then the building staff here would do the install, much like we did at the Dolbear School, which coincidentally was FEMA eligible last year. 2 years ago. It's all blended in.
Yes, so we're buying a water heater.
Correct. You're buying a commercial water
Installing,
heater
okay.
and then we will be installing it.
Yeah. Does that void the warranty in any way?
No, so our folks are licensed.
Okay.
To be able to do it, they
Yeah.
get whatever the manufacturer warranty is, would apply
Yeah.
to us.
Okay.
At the Greenwood School, we talked about the gutters in the alley. Those were the window well boxes with the standing grates on them. This $20,000 would be to replace those.
This is for the grate, okay, so grates below with no number next to it.
Yes, that's because I had it in there redundant.
So this has got it.
Yeah.
So this is for the grate on the left side,
Yeah, in the
near the
in
new
the
ramp to the
alleyway there.
kindergarten. Not on the right side. If I'm looking at the front of the school, which side are you considering the alleyway?
So there's some on the left, and then I believe there's some on the right hand
There's
side.
grates on the left. The right doesn't have grates, so,
So then it would only the left.
So just the
It would
grates.
be to cover whatever is there for
yeah,
grates.
because when they did the ramp over, they put like a new like steel grate. There's a window well under the new ramp over there.
Right,
And I think out of that, they just put like new grates. You're just putting a new frame and grates.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
They need to be lagged back in and
Yeah, they're loose. They're just sitting.
Right.
Yeah, and they're rusting to all, yeah. Okay, so that's the grates.
The Walton School, we mentioned a roof ladder just for access.
I don't know why they didn't put that on when they did it, but that's okay.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean-
those millions
They bring like a step.
out of ladder in.
Yeah, generally.
These are the things.
So we're keeping it? This has to be fared into the
Yeah,
main.
we'll keep them for now. I mean, we can always go back to these next week.
It would be
So this
permanently
is
attached.
6,000.
Close. Then we really cut them.
If we move into the senior center, we mentioned some of the rugs and flooring in that building, original to the renovation when that happened.
Would the 10 grand complete the flooring or is that just another little piece?
It would complete, I believe, all the flooring in the tub.
That's perfect.
We did a bunch.
Yeah, we've been doing it over the years.
Much, huh?
We did a lot of flooring downstairs, and we did some tile, and I think we did some VCT. This would be up, I believe, closer to some of the administrative offices.
Civic Center.
So the Civic Center roof, this number I actually have to update. It's gonna be closer to about 115,000, not 145.
No, really? I figured 145 was a better number.
It is, so the question was, the original ask to the historical commission in town was to remove the skylights. We haven't been able to completely verify that that's what's leaking when they're flashed in, but
There's other spots that aren't near the
no, correct.
skylights. There's spots in the center that is the worst.
My daughter's basketball periods of playtime, I was looking up the other morning.
And you can't even see,
Any
you
leak.
can't even see the skylights because
did the same.
behind all the,
Well, it's the skylights that is the half moon ones that
Yeah.
are built in.
but they're behind all the heating. You can't, all the ductwork. You can't even see them anymore.
Yeah.
So that number would be to completely strip and re-roof that, correctly flash in those skylights and actually replace the window panes in the skylight itself.
Because they said to keep them, because that commission or whoever that was said, keep skylights.
They're original,
Yes. I believe so.
yeah.
Their
Someone at the
concern
last
was-
meeting asked about the warranty on the roof. Did someone find that out?
We'd ask a couple.
9
years
year-
in a row.
So that was done, Steve, you might know this answer. That was done by the AmeriCal Civic Center Association. So
The records on that are long gone.
Long gone.
Yeah.
Not a town thing, yeah.
that was probably 2006,
Yeah.
8.
Wasn't 2008.
When did the town assume,
And it's probably. not the roof.
After 2008,
It's everything under the
2009,
roof, Right,
2010.
that always is the water leak. It's all the flashing details.
So I have,
And I don't know if, is there ice and water shield up there? How is it
Right,
vented?
shingles are fine, so like, but like everything underneath it
Right.
could be.
I have $100,000 earmark request in for this because 100 was the max,
Right.
so.
How soon would, if they approved the 100,000, would we get it?
I will check on that. It's supposed to be during this round of, there's a bunch of different, there's a supplemental budget, so it's supposed to be in the supplemental. But,
Because I think we should do this.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be a year before, I think it needs to
yeah,
be
yeah.
done this summer.
I agree with you, yeah.
So I think we should keep the money in. And then if we did get the earmark money, would it just go back in the general fund if we didn't use it, or how would that work? Yes.
Or we use it for
If
something else.
we
for that.
got the earmark money, I would designate that for this because I'd have to designate that for this
Oh, yeah.
to satisfy the state. And
Yeah.
then,
We have to show them.
Yeah.
A completed
No, I
project.
think,
so this this couldn't go anywhere else off this list.
But does
So,
it say,
but it would go back to the general.
That's what I mean. It goes back to the general fund.
We could close it out, yes.
Because that's right. Obviously, you get the money in
Right.
October, and then they go buy it. The roof's already done. They're not going to say you can use that money to reimburse, right?
Right.
That's basically what I'm asking.
reduces
That's how the Hartshorn house roof. was
Reduces
done.
your
Same thing.
use of your number.
That
Could
was
you use
done.
it for brickwork on the civic center? Or would it have to
It depends on what you say here. Civic center work,
yeah.
be- right,
Flood improvements.
yeah,
Because,
We did that before.
yeah.
yeah, because there's, many other things in that building that are gonna,
Well, I think we should definitely do the mezzanine as well for 15. If you can really do that for $15,000, I think it still seems a little light. This seems like there's a lot of work involved to support that mezzanine.
I don't know how you're gonna support that without having posts in the middle of the.
Yeah, it's
basketball
rickety.
court.
So we actually paid a structural engineer to design that, to lag braces off the bottom of it into the brick wall.
Structural engineer.
So you're not gonna get a load that would support a commercial activity.
Yeah.
But you should be able to get, at least, you probably won't even get, like office floor, rating, but, WCAT could exist there. You could have a half a dozen people maybe on it to watch a game or do some sort of function like that. You're certainly not gonna offload
Steve,
a,
you'll just stand up there and wave.
I'm not going up there at all.
I'm never going.
I already fell off a ladder. I'm not falling off
you're
the
certainly
mezzanine.
not gonna load it with a pallet full of paper and put it up there for storage.
And that's in the 15?
We already, our operating budget, did the structural engineer at the end of the year, so 15 would be for the steel brackets.
We could make some revenue. Those are your box seats.
Box seats for the WBA games, yeah.
Yeah, citizen of the
It'll
month.
be grandparents that'll pay, I guarantee you.
Oh, yeah.
Being one, you pay for those when you're a grandparent.
And as far as the bathrooms, I'd say we see how it comes at the end. I mean, I always like,
Basement bathrooms or the upstairs bathrooms?
Those are
Basement
the
ones, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I like improving that building, but if it comes down to it,
Functional.
that could be cut,
Is
but
that an issue with who's down there, the boys club? Like, is that gonna interrupt that? I assume they use those bathrooms, like, then they're always in session, so I don't know how. Okay, so
Whatever we would do for that
Yeah.
would be as least disruptive as possible, so. It would be, they'd have great advanced notice
figure it out.
before, exactly.
Okay,
If there's any time, not that, their busy time is probably during school vacation, but if that was an elementary school, we'd be in there, Christmas vacation, February
right. they're not
vacation.
around, so,
Right.
yeah.
We'll have to figure out what their schedule is and try to match the work to it. The DPW garage that we had talked about, we removed all of these, for now. Some of the other work that we have going on there is gonna come in a little cheaper. We can absorb that. The roof at the nursery, I'll be honest, if we wanna pull this year hasn't been, a terrible year for roofs. So seeing how the spring shakes out, for that price, we might just be able to do that in operating and
okay.
cancel it out.
All right,
Third roof would take it out.
let's get that out for now. Yeah, but they can do this
The
one.
$12,000.
They can do this one, dear.
Yeah.
Roof karma's peeking around the corner.
Door handles with the Galvin, if you remember, Chris, this is about the hardware being internal to the door, moving it external.
They're all just worn out? Spindles and stuff?
So I guess the amount of traffic that flows in and other ones, by the auditorium.
Yeah, I guess they're 9 years old at this point, right?
So, and I guess the problem is when you go to fix it because it's internal to the door, I don't know if it's a little bit more complicated or if it's not as robust as a pull handle or something like that on the inside fix, so. It'd be to simplify that and move all the mechanical parts to the outside where they could be accessed.
These are exterior doors? Security issue in my eyes that you'd have to take care of.
Yeah, definitely do the handles, yeah.
The Landrigan Field House,
And those are pretty bad. I saw them the other day at the basketball game.
those are original too, God
Yeah.
only knows when.
I can't believe it's been this long since they asked for them.
Yeah, they were not part of any of the building project that happened up there. They probably weren't that ugly at the time.
It says quantity 3, but they're double doors. It's there's 3 doors.
3 sets of doors, so
Yes,
there's
and
team room 1, referee room in the middle,
Yeah,
team room 2.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that should stay.
Next up, the district-wide HVAC commissioning for $25,000.
So how come that's not operating expense?
We can ask Joe Bertrand next week.
I mean, if it's year over year, right, there's no investment there.
I think we all agree on that.
Does the group want to keep that included for?
Leave it, well, Joe will be in the meeting next week, so we can, and then we can always kibosh it then.
Every year we cut this, so I don't know, like,
Year over year, they don't get the message.
it's a big amount, so in their budget, I'm sure, obviously.
Right.
I could see why they won't.
Unless we want to vote this to remove it right now, I'm okay with that.
Their budget's
They have how many schools? This is like for probably one school, right? I think they had talked about that this was
I would imagine
do a
a
school a
building
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
With the exception of
Yeah,
Greenwood.
so, right.
It's not a lot of that, but yes.
Percentage of a percentage. Operating.
So does that stay for now?
Stay for now. We can do something with it next week.
Okay. The badge readers at the Dolbear School that Tim talked about.
Yep.
This is a security thing, but that sounds like a very big number for
Yeah, it does.
electronic. Really?
Does, all the other schools have all Badger, like let me say Greenwood and not Ewell, the Doyle, they all like that? Is there any school you can just walk in without a,
I don't think so. At a minimum, you probably have to ring a doorbell and get buzzed in.
well, yeah, that's what I mean.
If you remember what Tim was talking about with this is, if you're looking at the school to the right-hand
Yeah.
side where the custodians are in and out,
And they leave it,
they're propping the door open.
Propping it, yeah.
to the dumpster.
that's not good.
That's not safe.
So it's necessary. It's a question of the cost.
Did did Tim get that cost? That's probably from Bob from last year. Is that just a carried cost? I forget what Tim said.
I can look. I believe that's a carried cost from what Bob had the year before.
Yeah.
I think I remember him saying that last week.
What'd he say?
He said that last
He
week.
remembers it last week.
That was carried over.
Yeah, it's working. Good.
So I don't know if we can do something with the price or leave it for now or give them a little less. Say, make it work.
I don't know, man.
Or get an actual estimate.
Right.
But Bob probably did, but it's not, obviously not being updated. It's,
Right.
And we don't know the system.
I think we asked that he can add it to the system.
Okay.
You can add them to the
It's a
system.
scalable
I remember that.
We do that here quite frequently. I think if they haven't already, there's been a few of this. It's Leno
Yeah,
is the system. So periodically you see different devices.
yeah. So is there value to the town? Well, actually, so you're saying they have their own system already?
They do, yes, yeah. Yep, they have one there throughout the schools. I don't know exactly where that is. I would assume it's all of it. Public safety has it, our facilities do, and town hall. I believe the senior center might as well. I would think so. Back to the Greenwood, so the split AC units for classrooms.
You know, the other thing Mike said to me was, he doesn't know if the electrical in that building that would have to be upgraded as well. That was a big thing.
Oh, yeah, the amperage, right?
This
All
is
these
the
things are gonna
Greenwood
draw.
for the
It's not-
the AC?
The AC guy said he
Yeah.
doesn't think that's gonna have to be overhauled as well, the electrical system. So that's why he threw this 100,000 out there.
Yeah.
I'm still, if we want to phase it, I'm okay with that, but I don't think doing it all at once if we want to do a couple rooms
I
here.
don't think you can do it all at once.
that?
I don't think you can do it all at once. Like, there's just, knowing that school layout.
Yeah.
How do you air condition that whole school?
I think
You'd have heat pump,
It
you'd
has
have
to be
heat
the
pumps
portable ones.
everywhere. You'd have to have, like, if you weren't doing portable, like if they wanted, you'd have to have heat pumps
Yeah.
all over the place on a brand new roof. Like, I think this has to be thought out a little bit more, maybe brought to us with this is a diagram of the school and this is what we want to do and show how it's going to get done. It's tough to approve this
Did you
big.
say there's one room upstairs it hasn't been done, that's administration?
My notes from last week were that there was 10 rooms that they wanted to do. There was gonna be 2 units on the roof and then, 10 split units in 10 different rooms.
Yeah, I talked to Mike about it tonight. He says there's 15 rooms and it's not that simple. You can't just run all those rooms off of 2 units. He says the max you can get is a 4-ton unit and each room needs 3-ton. So this is more, like Phil says, it's more complicated. If there was an administrative room upstairs and we gave them 10 grand to do one and see how it goes.
There's some sort of teacher's room upstairs, because I know that's where
But
they always put
can
all.
we give them five grand and have them use that for planning? Have someone come in and actually do the survey and plan it out?
Do we need that, or is Mike good enough to actually figure that out? I mean, you need electrical analysis done too. But I mean, the town guys, I would assume, can figure it out.
You need the electrical, you need to take a look at what you need,
Well, I thought they put them in last year in the principal's office in that area.
They put one,
Is it a split that's in there?
yeah, that's hanging off the side of the building. They have the heat pump outside and then they have the conduit running up and through the 2-foot wall.
They only had to make one. They didn't have to.
Our warranty on the roof.
Well, my question is, anything on the roof would have to be approved by the warranty before anything was
My
put on.
question to that, when you weren't here, Phil, was whether or not you can put a housekeeping pad outside and build like a doghouse over them out of chain link.
And have them all in one area out back.
Right
or
along the
something.
back wall, just so
Yeah.
the kids don't destroy it and we're not putting any holes in that brick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you would, that's the planning, I think, like,
Yeah.
I think I think this is a good idea, like, I support it, because like, it is, it's just, I have trouble approving an expenditure without a general, what's the larger plan, because you do 10 rooms, and then what happens to the 20 other, or however many more rooms that don't have it?
Let's throw it back at the school department.
Yeah.
I mean, is that gonna fall back on Mike anyways? If we push it back to the school department?
I would say to probably handle,
$100 a
to
piece.
handle that whole project, you're probably not gonna be able to do it with just the two of them.
No, I mean to analyze
Plan
it.
it.
To not even plan the whole thing, just to look at it and say, Mike, the electrician can say, yeah, we need a whole new 500 amp service. Mike, the AC guy will say, well, no, everything's so spread out, you're gonna need 10 units all over the building because you can't put it on the roof and you're gonna have piping going everywhere. I just like,
Yeah,
someone needs to sketch it out. Throw that back at Tim and the school department to say, hey, you guys take care of this.
And I guess my thinking is though, why wouldn't we bring in pay a
Yeah.
third party to do that rather than, and because that way there won't be any concerns around undue influence or anything like that. Just, it's a fixed cost, $5,000, have some firm, I guess architectural firm or something come in and say, we need to cool this, we need to cool this school. What's our approach?
Well, how do we do that in our document here, though?
I would
We
say
can't
give
tell
them-
them, we can't tell them how to spend their money.
Well, right, but we could give them $5,000. and say-
$5,000 and say,
We did it with the stairs at the library. We gave money so that they could assess
oh, okay.
damage.
do we have an MEP that works with the town? Like, who's our
So,
go-to
so this,
We'd probably put it on the
MEP?
RFP, I would
Oh,
think.
you'd have to, because it's a public project, so you would.
Yeah, I mean, we don't,
Just go to,
we don't deal with anything. That'd be a
Right.
good permanent building committee question. We don't, typically if it gets to this scale, it's part of a larger project anyway. So you'd be going through that process.
great.
And this may run into a warrant article on its own, depending on the complexity and the cost of it, if you have to change the electric and what have you.
yeah,
Just to go down the slippery slope, I mean, what is this
Persons off.
town's thought on that building 5 and 10 years down the line?
yeah.
At
Greenwood,
least 100
Yeah.
more years.
I think it's there to stay.
At least one more pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
We just gave it a new roof and
Century, right?
Yeah, right.
a new boiler and a new roof, right? We just gave them. New fire stairs. Didn't we put new stairs on the back?
So was the
Yeah.
fire escape?
Didn't we do a new fire escape there
They
too?
did a ramp out the first. floor.
Service the building
I think
for the long
repairs of the
term,
fire
then
escape,
it
yeah.
makes sense to plan seriously for
Yeah.
it than
Yeah.
kind of haphazard it.
Yep. My opinion is based on what needs to be done. I think we table it, not just throw $100,000 at it and hope it is done correctly.
right.
And I guess the question, like we say, is who's going to do that? Who's going to fund it?
What I'll do is, when we break tonight, I'll get in touch with Tim and ask him, give me whatever background he has on that. And then, I'll see if I can come up with some sort of idea of what you would bring an engineer and an architect in to evaluate that.
Yeah.
We'll just design a system. I don't know if you think the $5,000, I don't know if it's,
Yeah.
you know.
If
30.
we could get a cost on that in a week, if we could do that in a week, have someone make a phone call, not have you do everything.
I saw how much, I put one in my house, 100-year-old house last summer. And the amount of work that had to take place, like a destruction and the cost, like it just seems like to do that school just seems like
Yeah.
a huge project.
And the other thing is they're split units, so they're heaters and coolers. And we just put a new boiler in the thing, so we're kind of,
Beautiful boiler in that school.
is it?
It is, it's really nice. They did a good job on that.
Doesn't it kill you though?
His eyes just lit up.
Pretty.
I wish you could put the units in the basement.
One of those basement rooms has a bunch of files, I think, from the old Galvin. Have you been in that room?
I don't know.
It's like a scene from Fahrenheit 451.
Fire hazard.
No.
There's a room, I think it was all the old files from the old, where was the school before the Galvin? I always think, no.
I'm going to recommend tabling that unless anyone else wants to keep it on. Let's table that.
Yeah.
I was going to do some further research.
Firing range at one point.
The next one, that's just a duplicate on my end, I apologize.
Which one?
The window grills,
window
that's
grills, yep.
covered above. The Woodville School, this is to address the rooftop AC unit there. This would be for a complete replacement.
My note, and I don't know where I had this note, maybe from the comment or from the write-up of it, is that it's not past its useful life yet. And that whether or not we should what we're kind of discussing about, is it better to put money into planning for replacement next year? Or is that not like, I don't know why I had a note that this thing hadn't reached its useful life yet. So I don't know why we were
think that's right.
replacing it.
How old could it be?
So this is
Original.
original to that building
So
construction.
Like 12 years, 14 years?
No, I think that building opened in
99?
2004,
Oh, was that late?
2004.
Okay, so close to 20.
Very, yep.
Because Dolbear was 99, I think.
Yeah.
And then they did the Woodville,
So I was still in the high school when they weren't done with it,
building it.
but I was done.
Yeah.
And they were still doing the site work, I think, so,
Oh, you didn't go to school at the Woodville?
way back when.
When we were in school, the Woodville was where
The fresh kids
Right.
went.
the different kids went. And he only has it as a tier 2, so it doesn't, and Mike did tell me that it's a coolant thing. If it fails, you just have to replace all the coolant for a couple $1,000s.
It has the old coolant in it.
Yes.
And so the interesting part about this one is Mike, the gentleman that was talking to Frank, when we were walking around, was actually the person that installed it the first time.
He had his initials on it.
Right.
Scratched it right in there.
Replace it prematurely. That would look
Yeah.
poorly on his, yeah. The last.
Well, he could use a sale.
Is it, I guess that's is this thing working and why is it on the list?
It's on as a T2 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where it's tier 2. Remember, this unit had a compressor problem pre-pandemic that
And you-
needed to be addressed, that the pandemic was able to
Yes.
accomplish.
I'm sorry, how long do they usually last?
I don't think you could probably do 20 years.
Okay, so this is like 16
It's getting
years old,
close.
isn't it?
It's close. It's similar to the roofs. I bet you it's if it's not there, it's in the 3 to 5 year look for sure. You know, to think about seriously addressing it.
Just going back, I'm the only one with, notes from last week, being at home right now, but I think they mentioned that whenever there is a repair or parts that need to be replaced, a crane has to be hired to get access to it where it is on the roof. So it's an expensive
Who's that speaking?
process.
That's Jeff.
Jeff, right.
But I see on our lease, we have a crane.
Did we get our new one yet?
That lease would be a lot more expensive if we bought the crane.
Is the 210 just cover the material then?
No, that should cover the material of the install. I would imagine if you get a contractor in that's serious about doing that work, that price should probably come down from that though. If I mentioned outside, the Dolbear School was about 100,000 to replace there. I don't, not to compare them apples to apples, but I would imagine that there could be a little bit of wiggle room.
So who came up with the 210, sorry?
I think
The school department?
that number, yeah.
I'll recommend we table that for now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Knocking a lot off here, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you are. Might
Maybe
be
not
impressed.
enough.
The Woodville School, so to strip the floor and basically refinish it from bare wood up.
That's been on and off for a while.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's a tier 2 to them.
It gets used all summer. It gets rented out all the time. I don't have a problem with redoing that
Yeah.
floor.
I'm still surprised that it's a tier 2.
Didn't you do all the floors a couple of years ago? Or was that a bunch of other?
Touched them up, I thought.
The
Woodville gets used on?
cafetorium,
WVA uses it.
Oh,
The
okay.
Dolbear, you did.
It wasn't, yeah, I
We did
remember
the
there was
Civic Center.
the
Civic
that
Center.
was the Civic
We didn't
Center.
do this
We
one.
didn't, yeah, we should do it. I think it's good use.
Okay,
Too small.
next down,
Old story.
BB Library, $51,000 for new carpet. This is the exact same request that they asked for the year before. that got cut at the very end. This is for the red and gold rooms.
That's a lot.
I can tell you that that's a pretty accurate number, so that's a complete replacement for those rooms.
We took it out last year, right? We didn't give them any money last
Which
year.
rooms are they?
Red and gold, and I think the circulation area.
Are the red and gold like the two ones on the sides?
I
The
don't know.
Where the
magazine
magazines
room
are.
and, is it the-
I believe so. They're
quiet
they're
room?
they're offshoots from your main circulation desk. I don't know the complete layout there.
Yeah, like right when you walk in the front.
Nobody said it was a tripping hazard, right?
I think if you remember when Catherine came in and talked to us some time ago, by the circulation area, they were worried because the carpet was starting to stretch.
Oh, sure.
It was very worn, yeah.
You know, that's Grand Central Station at that building, you know, right there. Everybody's either coming in from Main
Yeah.
Street or
Avon.
Avon Street. And it, you know, that's really the epicenter of all the traffic that comes through the building.
So last year we said yes to this, but then we took it off because,
This was a late round, like 11th hour.
yeah. Right.
That- Again, I'm looking at my notes from last year. I have that we had, you know, there was grant money that was gonna pay for it, and that's why it came off.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they told us.
Did
to
that
take-
grant fall through?
I would assume so,
Yeah.
seeing that, you know, that it showed back up this
Well,
year.
can we ask the question, did they get the grant but just use it for something different?
We can ask that.
Yeah.
Pandemic may have messed it up.
Yeah, we had that happen to a few grants on our end.
Yeah,
We thought we were
if
gonna
that's the
get it.
case, yeah.
Okay, just moving on down, the Plaza Masonry and the Parapet repair. We have borings scheduled to figure out with the money that we approved last year, to figure out what lies beneath that. Personally, I think this is probably premature until we understand what the foundation is underneath that. Because that number could either be way too high or way too low based on,
Have we done it yet? Have you done the,
it's scheduled, it's just getting them out here. They have to do a couple things with some other stuff we have going on.
all right, so yeah, we push that off till we do that. Yeah.
Then you'll know. It could be just as easy as a brick replacement and
But we won't know that until next round because we're set to make a decision next week, right?
Oh, yeah, this is, yeah, we'll table this
So we
next year.
tabled it,
Yeah, it should have been a prerequisite that they
Yeah.
use the money we gave them last year for the,
yeah.
you know, it's scheduling.
Repair though, what's that, that's separate from the plaza,
Yeah, it's two tasks we're
right?
talking
Like,
about.
could we separate this and it's like, cause if there's if the with the front, is that the front facade
I'm assuming so.
or the roof, like the roof has a parapet, the whole,
So they have it written,
I would think it'd be the parapet on the front,
oh, like the brick
Plaza.
wall?
Yeah.
yeah, they call that a parapet.
talking about that, you know, what basically boxes in the plaza.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything on the building.
Okay, I was
So it's the
thinking up
same,
high.
it's the same issue, same task.
Yeah,
It would be, yep.
Okay,
so table that till next year as well.
front roof.
And the roof as well. What's going on with that? That's the first we've ever heard of that.
It's the first that we've ever heard of it too.
Yeah.
I know Chris was trying to get in touch with Dave Mason over there. That, I couldn't tell you. I'd have to talk to Catherine and get a little bit more specific on that.
Is it damaging anything? Is it,
Yeah, is it leaking?
I have a feeling that if it was definitely damaging something that we probably would have gone over and offered whatever we could to help.
yeah,
You know, that
But they haven't called
interior
yet.
finish of that building is like a museum.
yeah.
I haven't heard a panic phone call come yet. But that doesn't mean that they may not have reached out and we put out some small little fires.
Yeah,
250,000,
For part of a roof.
yeah.
yeah, for part of a roof. When you're talking about at the Civic Center, you know, it was $140,000 for a,
Where would they get that number? Where would Chris would have got that number?
So we have an on-call roofing contractor that we can get it from. Either that or we'd have to put it
It's a
in. bid.
huge roof though, like there's the roof.
that's elaborate.
Could you, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a pain in the ass. Can you just, the parapet 100, because they have a very extensive, intricate parapet on that building along the top. And so I just, like, if they're asking, like, just to make sure that there's not like like you would have heard about it if there was
You're
like,
talking about the top of the building?
yeah, like that parapet.
Do we want to ask the library if they can come next Tuesday before Joe?
That would be great.
Yeah.
Is it
Usually
is this
good.
the
What's-
library asking, or is this Chris asking?
This is the
Catherine.
library. So we actually
And when they say front roof,
will assist.
do they mean that whole,
Yeah,
Really get too involved.
I gotcha.
They're kind of their own,
do they mean the roof of the
sort of
whole
like gas and
building?
light.
That
You know, We're
whole-
all the town, but they're their own
yeah.
separate.
Comes.
So is this the trustees asking you?
That's the old
This
building.
is coming
Do they
directly
mean
from
that is the front
Captain
roof?
McDonald.
If she could come next Tuesday, that would be great.
50,000?
And then we can make it more educated. I still seem like they're throwing numbers at things here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to talk about any more of the building stuff? You want me to keep going?
Everyone okay on building stuff?
Good.
So my group has in the Cremation Garden. If you remember, we talked about this a few years ago. What this basically is trying to delay a cemetery expansion project in the back and the wetlands out there. This would accomplish somewhere between 3,000 and 6,000 cremains burials.
This is at Forest Glade or Lakeside?
Horse we don't.
Is this something we discussed, me and Joe discussed, is this something we could do in phases so we don't have to take the 250 all at once, or?
We potentially could. I think maybe we table this one. and-
Okay.
And see where we
Okay.
land.
What's the concern about the wetlands?
So the barrier to be able to do a project in there and alter them is sky high. You also have a very high water table out there.
Yeah.
The last expansion project was somewhere in the $300,000 to $400,000 range. That was done a few years ago. I couldn't even venture to guess what that might cost you. So what this will hopefully do is encourage those who choose to do that, give them a nice place to have somewhere they can sit, they can have their loved ones, and, create an alternative so you can try to save some of the space out back.
So the competing use would be just expansion of conventional burial.
Right.
Okay.
It's really just to mitigate, and delay that if we can.
All right.
This isn't enough for a warrant article where you try to prevent,
I think it may be.
Could be.
try to minimize how many come up like that, I would guess.
Well, I think
or-
you don't want everyone to say, I'm gonna do an end run around capital planning and do my own warrant article.
Right.
So there's that fine.
So for warrant article, that's a decision by the council, right?
No, you could, any sitting member of any elected or appointed board could do it on their own, 10 citizens.
Oh,
yeah.
but is the warrant article decided by the council or by the town vote?
Oh, town vote. It'd go to town meeting. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, not for nothing, but I think, that's something that you kind of want to put in front of people.
Yeah.
So,
I would think so if you're talking about wetlands.
This wouldn't have anything to do with it. If you drive into the cemetery, there's a building on your left that's essentially our office. Just past that, there's a flat patch of just bare grass, so it would be in that location there.
And Joe, it's the same thing, same restrictions for being in the cremation area, Wakefield resident or,
It would be the exact same thing.
Okay.
And ultimately, I can run the numbers. I would have had to do it. It will eventually pay for itself plus some surplus and perpetual care. So you'll have a
how
combination.
much perpetual care is needed, but that's another question.
You'll have you gotta mow it and pay the people.
Yeah, I guess you do, yeah.
You'll have a combination of both direct burial in ground, plus depending on, what the design shakes out in the end, you could have columbariums that are actually vertical walls with spaces in them too.
I mean, it is eventually, there's gonna be an issue that we're gonna run out of
yeah.
space
Space, yeah.
over there. Something that we can't kick down the road too long, I guess.
I would say if it eases the group to push this to be a warrant article, we could probably accomplish that. We'd look to do it probably this time next year.
Okay.
We'd probably combine that in with maybe a couple other smaller improvements down there.
Down there, yeah.
tricky part about that is, you know, as much as it is for whoever ultimately resides there, it's just as much for everybody that's walking in and out of there to visit too. So.
Right.
So let's say we'll table that for now.
Not gonna kill it. I'm gonna take.
No.
Right, see?
Oh,
Get a joke, right? Come on, no one caught that, but
I
you,
see
thank
what
you.
you
that was quite,
Thank you.
that was quite a burn.
Yeah, that's good too.
So in the
Oh,
field parks section there, Frank has actually been doing a heck of a lot of work on the ball diamonds that we talked about. So the new thought is, if we change that number in the beginning with the 75,000, that will be able to, if we move that to 100, that will be able to accomplish a complete rebuild of the infield at Sullivan, Moulton Playground, and the 2 fields at Narcella. It will also get benches for Sullivan and new team benches for Moulton Field. And one of the problems is a safety issue with Moulton Field. The benches are facing the area of play and there's nothing in front of them. So somebody lets go of a bat, it's coming right at you. A foul ball is coming right at you. So that would also be able to accomplish getting a chain link fence up there too, to create some buffering between live play and those, you know, sitting, waiting for their spot in the lineup.
Nothing at Maple Way, huh?
Maple Way's in great shape. What do you want to do at Maple Way?
Oh, I don't know.
That field was redone 3 years ago. That field's great. And what they're actually, Dennis is working on this, is right now you have the temporary fence for the outfield that kind of goes up and down. He's going to work on it probably for next year to come to us to put a permanent fence there.
Like they have at the.
Yeah, because they do temporary because over the years, it comes down so soccer can use it, but soccer doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And we did the same thing with Narcella. We put the permanent fences out there because soccer gave the okay to Steve that they're not going to use it anymore. And
so is the field on the far end going away?
no. So how it is you need about 195 to 200 feet for a legal field for softball so they can play in tournaments. And that's where it was set up. I don't know if it's still there because it's obviously up and down, but
It's up now.
but what I mean is when they put it back, I don't know if they just randomly put it out there, but if they put it at 200 feet, what it does is it shortens the outfield of the backfield, but that backfield is usually only used for minors. And it's never been an issue
Right.
over the years with the temporary fence.
The only thing I see with so you said that it was all in good condition. I know that backfield floods.
Yeah, well, so a couple of years ago, they did both fields,
Which part?
No, at
Maple Way.
Maple Way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's more of a like when they grade the fields at the beginning of the year, if it's graded properly, the water will run off perfectly.
Yeah.
What happens is it gets puddles and then people start raking it and then they make divots. So Dennis is usually pretty good about every year getting it good at the beginning.
I think Maple Ways has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, no, it's over
Yeah.
the last 5 years, there's been a lot of work there.
I don't know how my dog is gonna feel about there being a fence up there.
Isn't it there all the time in the summer?
It's up all, yeah, but it's up right now. They never took it
Oh,
down.
they never took it down this winter? Because they didn't want to pay for it probably.
Yeah, but all the yellow plastic that usually covers it, it's completely off. Yeah, they never.
They used to have a guy that took care of that stuff.
So what's the lifespan on that though?
On what?
Like the 75 grand, right? How, are we gonna be spending 75 grand every year?
No.
No,
These Moulton
those places.
and Sullivan have not been done in,
So what's the recurrence of that cost? Is it 5 years? Is it 2? Is it 3?
someone like Dennis, I think it's maintained pretty well.
Getting at least a decade, if not more.
Okay.
Bolton and Sullivan will basically be stripped and laser graded to with a 1% pitch. And then it'll be on Dennis's crew to keep up with that and prolong that as long as you can. So that'll all be new clay, the
Yep.
material called Dur-Edge, which keeps the crabgrass and everything from coming into it. And then
Where is the Moulton?
Nacella.
Do you know where the West Side Social Club is?
Yeah.
About
It's that
Yes,
way.
yeah, now I know.
So then, so where's Sullivan then?
Sullivan is off of Salem Street.
Right.
The
That's
BMX
what-
track. So if you head from this building towards Linfield,
Yep.
You pass the
Oh.
intersection of Salem and New Salem.
Where the
and off.
skate
In that
park.
neighborhood.
Yep, yeah,
The BMX bike.
BMX.
yeah, it's
But you said,
way, right? It's
Yeah,
off.
it's off the road, yeah.
Yeah.
you said 100 grand. You mean combining these two and adding a little bit?
So combine those two and then through Frank's due diligence, we found out that the safety ad of putting the chain link fence in.
And the
It
benches,
definitely needs to be there.
yes.
The chain.
And the benches need to be redone as well.
Yeah.
There's only 3 large diamond fields in the town, and the Walsh was done 2 years ago. And that's the high school one anyways, that's the main field. The other 2 are for Little League and like the JV and freshman teams. And they've been in pretty bad shape for a while.
The Molten has a soccer field, right?
Molten, well, yeah, I don't think they use it anymore.
though, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've been using all turf. Dan, the rec director said that the soccer hasn't used Molten in 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Come a long way with the fields.
Crazy.
Last
My
decade.
kids played there.
Yeah. Yeah, mine did too, yeah.
So I think we need to do all that. And like Joe said, we put that in one number, then if you need a little more money at one field than the other, then it's not earmarked for one thing. But I think that's a necessity.
So just continuing through, so that we talked about the playground at the Walton School.
Yep.
We also talked about just bumping that number up a little bit based on the concrete pad that we have to take out underneath it. So 160 was the number to accomplish that.
Perfect.
I don't see why you just don't give the PTA a bunch of sledgehammer.
Get all the aggression out.
Give the kids, right? Well, the kids get the 5-pound hammers and.
And then last time, Phil, you weren't here for it, but the committee looked at the Doyle playground surface, the rubber surface at the Dolbear School, and then the kindergarten playground at the Dolbear School, and deferred those for now as those were priority 2 and priority 3 requests.
And keeping to our one playground a year at this point.
Right.
So I think they-
Like I said, if we get the $500,000 bonus at the end, like Steve
That's
said,
right.
we might be able to do more.
So if nobody has any playground questions, miscellaneous, the scoreboard with the cage, we removed, we're working on doing that now. The Savings Bank was gracious enough to donate that one from last year, so we think we can just get this accomplished. The chief came in and gave us a talk about the mutual aid radio.
I think that should stay.
I updated the group last time on some of the projects that we had marked for the application development for our GIS. And then for
You want to explain to everyone I think we should keep that, but
So that is basically taking everything downstairs that is on paper next door, getting it digitized and creating an electronic record of all the assets that we maintain. If you remember, we asked for 3 years, it's $70,000 in the beginning of this. We ended up funding a year, half funding a year, and now we're into year 3. This $150,000 would complete what we set out to do in the beginning. Most of this is related to organizing some data for our utilities. I can provide you that list that we talked about last time, but we had this specific project earmarked for that.
did the 70 is that project complete with that money already used up?
So the first year we did an assessor's map update combined with some of our stuff. We need the parcel data to be accurate for everything we do because we benchmark off of a lot of it. Now we're moving into some of the other stuff that we have. We basically need to get up to the point where our division of 1 plus our administrative assistant can now start to try to keep pace with that. So the other
What
thing,
happened to the paper records that,
they would stay. They would always stay.
okay.
The one thing we do have to do is for water anyway, we have to inventory. There's a mandate from the feds that we have to inventory every service line, every house. We have to have that completed 4 years regardless. So this would certainly,
This would jumpstart that,
it's jump started.
I mean,
This would complete it and put it.
complete it.
Yeah.
Would the 150, would you be able to finish in 1 year? That 150 finish everything, or is this a 2-year project?
No, this would be done.
1 year?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say,
This is what it is. This can't be accomplished by the one person we have doing it full time.
Yeah.
This is to bring in the cavalry, get the help, get it done.
Yeah.
Move on.
So
I
you
think,
I would keep it.
I think
said
that's
asset
safe.
management. So are you gonna track assets that we're also funding here?
We do now. Yep, so we track all of our water mains through this.
Well, no,
Sewer.
right, but I'm talking like, so, but like, do we break buildings down into boilers, boilers, roofs, and items like that, fire alarms and stuff like that? So we can see what the lifespan of the different buildings are?
So the work order system that the buildings division use captures most of that. They actually came out when we put that into place and went through all the buildings and scoped them. So that would be part of that.
Okay, so that's something that we could look for next, if we do this, we could look for that next year and start to see, you know, here's the request, here's the age, and like, here's it. We should be able to get a whole bunch of information on that.
Yeah, this would be pretty heavy to the civil side, but we would certainly be able to keep pace with some of that data on the buildings end too.
I mean, I think if you've got it, you should leverage it,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You already have the building information, the specifics.
We have most of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's some of it that we didn't have. Some of the small little garages in different buildings are only heated by a kickstart heater with no water or sewer in them. We didn't have them on it because it was expensive.
So maybe we should be accessing that information before we start these meetings every year.
We
Yeah.
can, this is a brand new thing for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I would say for next year, we should look at starting early so we can take a look at that and get oriented.
Let's see, lastly, an aggregate screener for Nahat Street. So this is basically just a way to sift through the rock, rubble, concrete, and or leaves that we generate down there all the time and turn them into use for product. I can tell you that the price to remove leaves went from about $7.50 a yard to $14.50 a yard. Trucking, fuel, everything's expensive. When, to be honest with you, most of it down there, we could sift out of it, get it tested, and it could be used.
I mean, as mulch or,
Yep. So this would just be
Incinerator.
a good rainy day activity for our.
burn it all.
Frank knows we made a heck of a lot of gravel. We used to actually truck all the concrete and asphalt out. We crushed it instead, sifted it, and turned it back into usable product, so. This is just be,
The loom pile, isn't that the residents could go grab the loom, right?
Yeah,
Sift-
and you
that
know,
loom.
that's such a deal. I mean, couldn't there be a market for that stuff? Cause that's good stuff.
yeah, potentially. I mean, we're not set up right now to be able to do that. but, I mean,
Well, so, I mean, one of the things that I know, because I have a yard that's full of all sorts of sizes of rocks, is that the town doesn't accept rocks or concrete or anything like that.
we won't accept construction material. It's just, think of anything we dig out in the street. So if we can take, filter it out so it's only the stone that's 3 inches or less, we can actually reuse that in our daily operation.
Right, but
Such as what, doing what?
Backfill,
yeah, it becomes fill. So you saying with the aggregate so is the aggregate screener for solid materials or is it for leaves and loam?
both.
Okay.
So it's just changing the size of the screen on it to how fine you want to get that.
And what's the annual maintenance cost on that kind of a device?
So it would be serviced by our folks in-house, so I'm sure, like anything else, grease, taking care of it.
Well, I mean, so my guess is they'd have to be not licensed on it, but they need to take a bunch of courses on that because that's probably is that a simple machine or is it a
Not
complex?
that complex.
Pretty simple. So it's basically a steel box with the screening element,
And a-
vibrates.
Engine.
It's just.
Oh, I could make that for you. I'll make that for 700, 75,000.
It has to be durable. They take a beating.
Home Depot is just down the street.
And the other thing with this, if you get that, the material, I've done work for towns where they've had stockpiles, so you do a town project and, we bring in the loom at $50 a yard, say. But this, say, no, you don't have to, you guys just do the labor and equipment, you have the material.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
Still-
think this thing
we still-
would pay for itself.
it has a potential to.
Yeah.
We're sitting on a pile that we have that was Beasley and Landrigan Field still. We just don't have the means to screen it, and it's one of those things like, we haven't had a large.
All that is at Nahan Street.
Yeah.
It's down in the back. we'd be able to chip away at it and, that could be something if the cemetery needed to balloon to top dress some of the burials. It could go there, it could go back out to the residents. Basically what it's gonna save you is trucking it out at the end of the year and paying somebody else to do exactly what we're trying to accomplish.
But if we're gonna make it useful, it obviously can't operate year round, right?
It could,
But
it goes slower when, in the winter, when it's
who's
wet.
gonna, but you know what I mean,
Right.
spring, summer, fall. So, but to make it useful for the town, it would need to be someone's responsibility to, actually probably a couple people to on days of the week, that's what you do. So I don't know how we, as the member of the capital committee, how do we make sure that
Bless you.
happens? Great idea.
So you could think, there's 2 employees down there every Saturday and Sunday when it's open. We're also in and out of there all the time. This would be something that if it were myself running the division, I'd probably have a couple of people assigned to it. Periodically, there's someone in there tidying up anyway. So I don't think manning it and making sure that it's actually being used wouldn't be an issue at all.
And the addition of a new loader helps.
Yeah, we're gonna run.
We're gonna run
a lot of
So
material.
you would only use this loan for your own purposes? No one could come down like a resident and say.
Yeah, the residents
No,
use it
we'd
too.
give it to the residents.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just come down.
They don't, you gotta load it yourself at this point though, right?
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, the trucks-
That's a Tom Mullen question. On
Yeah, I don't
whether or
think-
not you get it.
Yeah, you
well,
can't do
yeah, It always introduces liability, doesn't it?
No, but I mean, if we're sitting on, good usable product, we certainly have a need for it, but citizens have been able to take advantage of that feature since it feels like the dawn of time, so
No, okay, I didn't know that.
if we run out of it, we'll buy it and leave it down there for the residents, so.
It's a
this
it's a
would
good,
basically
it's a good deal.
eliminate
I think that's a nice to have. We'll see, maybe see where we are at the end.
Yep, and actually just to go back up the next line, so you're telling us that this GIS, this last investment in GIS finalizes this, is that we are good to go?
that. We are gonna be good till we can keep pace. We're gonna have to talk about creating an operating line item and really creating some attention in that area.
Okay.
Is the GIS a license that you have to buy?
It's a license that our engineers use.
So, I mean,
So it's essentially it's software. And you pay an annual fee.
Yep.
but this 150,000 is actually for the labor to
This
do
is
the
to
work.
create the record.
Yeah,
Digital ties, is that a?
digitize everything.
Yeah.
So this is like an end user. The end user is your
This is,
employees who are putting the data in. Would,
this is an ingredient, this is the material we need somebody else to host for us. But this is creating the file that then gets put up on to the platform so that we can use it.
So, I mean, honestly, I would want to hear from FinCom that this is an operational expense that we foresee for 2023, right? I don't want to put 150,000, I want it done, but I don't want $150,000 that we're going to have to put $75,000 back into in 3 years to catch up again. Right? So, I mean, is there,
Once it's accomplished, isn't everything being put in daily now? It's not put in a box.
If you change a hydrant in the field, you update it live.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, you're eliminating, at this point going forward, I understood it that they're eliminating the paper.
I've heard, but you're saying there's still operational costs that need to go in to this, that need to be planned for.
We operate this every day. Yep. But right now, some of the drainage stuff that's out there,
No, well, hold on, I get that, but, you have the right people in place and the right licenses and the right support costs all in the budget so that as you progress through multiple years, things are coming in from the field live, they're getting entered, they're getting curated, and we won't be building up another backlog of work that needs to occur.
this will all translate out to the end user on the street. which the administrator in the office would then, with those records that get updated, QA/QC that, and it becomes live.
Okay, so
So
you
it's-
don't need a new rule, you don't need a new body to do this. You don't need an additional body to do this.
Believe it or not, we hired an admin for engineering to take care of some of the administrative support work, who is doing this right now.
Okay, I believe it, yeah.
Taking a liking to it, and what we thought was a home run ended up being a grand slam, and she's just plowing through.
Right, so you're comfortable to loosely committing to this committee that next year, if we want to start early, we can start reviewing some of those asset records that'll inform our next year's capital slate.
We can pull any asset that we have and we'll go through that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Is that, it will be publicly, it will be open access to the public, right?
So that gets a little bit tricky. I know communities that like to have that publicly accessible, and I know that communities that don't like having all of their water infrastructure, for example, completely accessible. Kind of post 9/11 feeling.
Yeah, I know, but you always bump up against that.
So if you were doing any work at your house and asked for plans or drawings,
Yeah.
it's completely accessible.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you could
I was-
FOIA stuff,
Yeah, it's public record.
yeah.
Yeah, we're more than willing to get anybody whatever they need to
Right,
do their due
well.
diligence. Okay, so moving in, this is the library IT requests that came in.
Anything seem unreasonable, Steve, out of that stuff?
I think the file server might be a little high. But
I was gonna go the other way. I was gonna say the computers, the monitor, network printer, the scanner, and the Chromebooks
Our operation.
should be considered either operational or office equipment. And the file server and the UPS, that does seem actually, if you're getting a good file server, that seems like a good ballpark to me on that.
So what are they asking?
The things are too small to be capital. It's just replacing a part.
Why would we as capital
10.
be buying monitors
20,
when they can go to
12.
or whatever?
So the file server, you're saying then the file server and what other item?
The UPS, that's an uninterruptible power.
You don't think the
supply.
computers? It's not,
They're $500 a piece. That's a good price for them, but that, in my mind, that's
quantity for.
price,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
the cost of business.
So they're asking for 13. We want to just give them a piece of that?
Giving them 9.
No, they're asking for 5.
I just added them all up in my head, rough number. What, 7, 10?
Take 5,000 off.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we could just budget them.
Oh, sure,
I'm just saying roughly.
why would a file server be,
$7,000,
well, no, why would it be a capital expense?
because of the durable life. Because you're going to use a file server, it's going to be used 24/7, 365.
Okay.
And it's going to be used for 3 to 5 years, whereas a desktop, nowadays, a desktop's only used, 5 to 8, 200 days a year. And, they're much more prone to breaking down. So their usable life is anywhere from 1 to 2.5 years.
Okay,
I mean, this would definitely be cheaper than renting cloud space, right?
I'm assuming they made the choice to get a file server for a specific reason. That they, we can add, that's a good question to ask them. They'll be here
She's
next
coming in
week,
anyway,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's, and I don't particularly, the cloud is what it is. It's just as vulnerable than anything else.
yeah.
But this one might seem a little bit more secure. Maybe we'll have to ask them why they are.
Yeah, I agree.
Dave,
so it looks like $8,700 of that list is what we would be passing on.
Yeah, after we talk with them.
what's your feeling on the network printer?
It's a black and white, it's a laser jet. I mean, price looks about right, but again,
Would you say that's capital or would you say that's operations?
that's in my,
Should we look into leasing it with the rest of our leases?
Oh, no.
Okay, so you would.
I would
guess know
say-
You know about that more than I do.
yeah, it seems, it's office equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, it does seem a little pricey. Maybe if that's something that they have printed to,
I think,
Isn't that like a private computer? Doesn't it seem like a private printer to you?
yeah.
Instead of, shared that we would have?
I would think at that price, it's one that they have out in the common area where people print.
Guess I'd have it. I mean, it's,
I mean, nine
not gonna break the bank, but I just
seems to be like a heavy duty.
don't know why we just didn't go to more shared.
Yeah, so what we've done at the state is we've actually moved away from black and white printers and gone to multifunction.
Right.
You have this nice device, but it does everything. It prints, it scans.
And it's shared by
sends.
the whole floor.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
So Joe, they can come next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Ask Catherine.
If
Okay.
not, I will definitely get you the answers.
Okay.
So, but we agreed that we're gonna conclude a week from tomorrow.
Well, yeah, that can be, I mean, that was, obviously, that's just a date we set.
Right.
I assume that next Tuesday we can hash all this out? I mean,
How close you are?
huh? Yeah, well,
no.
did we get through everything yet?
No, it's
Oh, no, if we get,
agenda reveal, it'll be next Tuesday.
no, we gotta know.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be at like
cut.
5.
Oh, really?
I have a 2.9.
Yeah, I think we're
Oh,
at three.
maybe you didn't take everything off that I thought we were.
Do you count? you
Getting
don't
ahead.
count
I'm at
the
265. No,
No.
I'm just guessing.
Different pockets of money, but I'll go through that anyway.
Yeah.
So in sewer, some prior year debt that we have to take care of, 42,000. The division's looking to replace their Bobcat. The HVAC unit at the Farm Street pumping station. That building is at the corner of Farm and Water Street. Everything that goes down the drain goes there. Can't freeze.
Okay.
I'll be working for Frank if it were free.
Me too. The whole town will be shut down.
System improvements.
God.
If you go around every once in a while, you see a big van with a steaming manhole by it. They are actually inspecting the sewer and installing slip line casts in them instead of having to dig and fix. Because of the amount of work that we have going on, we've been increasing this. When that's happening, and we do find an area that we do need to put a hole in the ground to fix it, this budget covers that. So it's a little bit reactionary. We don't exactly know what we're gonna find until we get inside and do it.
Is that what you're doing? And not to digress, but in front of Shalma?
They were doing it down there. They were doing it on Main Street recently.
Okay.
Yeah, so. And then on Spalding Street, there's actually, right where the ice cream truck used to park, there's a forced sewer main, so that low-lying area gets pumped up to Church Street. So that is going to be something we're gonna try to replace this year. And the price that we have updated for that is $125,000. So that is everything related to sewer. In water, we have some pre-existing debt in that enterprise for $42,000. To buy a new pump for one of our pumping stations in Linden Street for $82,000. Here's some treatment plant upgrades we have to do related to our chemical disinfectants. That's in there at $200. A little bit shorter, but system improvements for water are things like updating hydrants as we're doing road construction to make sure that they're new and operable. And $500,000 for water mains. So we have a project that's about to go out that's valued at about $3 million. This would be to supplement 2 streets on that and create an additional project on each street for water main replacement. The total for the water enterprise is $875,000.
So can I ask, I mean, my guess, and tell me if I'm wrong, because it is just a guess, is that the water division is going to benefit from your GIS activities.
Yep.
So can they kick in money to cover that? Because if you're saying that one of the big projects is categorizing and tracking every water supply to every private house,
Yep.
that's going to be a good chunk of that. And is there any reason why they couldn't use some of their cash to defray, basically share the cost?
I'll do this before we meet on Tuesday. I'll break out the sewer component and the water component of that project. I'll show you different areas. price number.
Okay.
Put the others down in water and sewer, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, Bill's group has all the projects marked. I'll just show enterprise versus tax levy. And I think it'll drop that.
It'll drop the 150.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
You get to stand in the mezzanine and wave to people.
Oh, right, okay.
There you go. Before it crumbles.
those are coming out of retained earnings.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So,
Can I ask what, before you go on to what are, we all still have to put our, privately write down what you think we're at.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, I watched the news and I saw kind of an expose on what John Deere is doing around their tractors. This is only around farmers, but a lot of their new tractors are coming out and they're almost impossible to self-service.
I've
Because,
seen it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so I'm just concerned about that I hear what you're saying around, actually, I would just ask, if you're gonna buy a John Deere, what is its useful lifespan and cost to the community if that particular loader follows the same type of business model that their farm tractors do?
so we have always had John Deere loaders here.
Right.
As far as I can remember.
But within the last 5 years, within the last 5 or 10 years, they've changed their business model around so that the computer and software that's running the machine now is proprietary equipment.
So it's a right to repair issue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're seeing that actually with a lot of the vehicle manufacturers, or either that or they price the computer that diagnoses the machine.
right,
Even your regular, everyday vehicle.
yeah,
Basically to the point where, Joe Mechanic can't
afford,
access that.
yeah.
I would tell you, if we ever had that issue with John Deere, Caterpillar makes a nice machine, Case makes a nice machine, we're gonna,
So you're actually after the function, not,
you always use John Deere brand, right? That could be a Komatsu
Okay.
machine, that could be, I'll put it this way, we talk a lot when we talk fire alarms about simplex systems
Mhm.
and how they're very hard because simplex is simplex and you only need a
That's it.
simplex person.
yeah,
We want the
you don't want to
option.
get caught, yeah,
Exactly.
yep, we call that vendor lock.
Yeah, we don't want to be
So,
vendor locked at all.
yeah.
What was the last loader you bought a couple of years ago?
2011, and we painted it in 2020.
What model?
Oh, that was a John Deere.
That was a John Deere, okay.
Yep.
That's 10 years, we talked about, that's already 10 years. It's crazy.
I mean,
But like you said, he got 30 years out of this, but I know what you're saying, but obviously there was a lot of work done to it.
Right, yeah.
I'm curious as why is only the farmers up in arms?
Well, that's the market they're starting
The
in.
hardest hit,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, is that 2020 or not 2020?
Oh, it's been brewing for the last,
I remember watching it, that the guy was in his garage showing
Yeah.
how he rigged it so he could get in.
I saw it, actually, I hate to say it, I think I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah, I probably did too.
But, yeah,
So this report which was on YouTube, focused on,
it was all right to repair. They actually referenced Massachusetts as one of the few states that were pushing right to repair laws. So, yeah,
I know, it's sad it's going that way.
yeah.
So you want to tell us what you removed?
Oh, wait, hold on.
Wait, no, I want to say,
I don't know what he really took off though.
yeah, we don't. That's,
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, you did-
I might was written it down, but I don't know.
I don't know if I did it right either. I kind of all.
I missed a lot of stuff.
that's okay.
I'm just writing down a
I'm
random
your
number.
scribe, I'm here to.
Oh, I kind of did a little bit of that.
So you get a new copy to us when? Not by tomorrow.
I can email it out to you
Yeah.
probably tonight. As soon as I go
Okay, so
downstairs.
because we're meeting tomorrow.
Shane,
Do we need to meet tomorrow? What do you guys think?
Let's go through the list. and you
I
tell me.
can't make it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think what we did, we just did a lot. I think what we did tonight was huge.
Okay.
And then next Tuesday, I think we can actually say no.
Right. And
We'll have to.
Vehicles.
whatever debate
Yeah.
might arise.
We have not, I have the full price of the loader in there.
Yep.
The sidewalk machine has been deferred time being.
What does that mean? You took it out?
I took it out, yep. Everything else in the vehicle section stands,
58K on the 1916.
correct, yep. Getting into buildings now, considering we do not have the siding number yet. All the rest of the town hall work is still included. I will verify the infrared panel scan to see if that number changes. The public safety building, all of that work is still there.
But we added the front railing. No, or did we not?
Yep.
Public safety building?
Oh, I'm
No, Lafayette.
confused. I'm sorry. I did it again. I jumped ahead of you. Go ahead, sorry.
No, that's okay. So 5 Common Street, again,
Yes.
we don't have the siding number yet. The basement windows, the basement entry, the roof is still there, and the plumbing. The parking space has been removed. The front railing has been put back in. The garage has been removed. On the Ace building, the roof has been removed. The fire alarm still stands at 15,000. And the sump pump work for 7,500 is still there. Both the roof and the boiler for the Ewell School has been removed. The exit signs, the ceiling tiles at the high school, the Woodville water heater, the gutters for the alley at the Greenwood, the roof ladder, the rugs at the senior center, and the civic center roof at 115,000 is still in.
Oh, I'm sorry, you changed that to 115
Yeah,
from 145?
Yes, because now.
115.
We're just gonna be doing a roofing project. We're not gonna be patching in the.
Gotcha.
So mezzanine stayed, and the bathroom renovations stayed. Everything related to the DPW facility right now has been removed. The nursery roof has also been removed. Galvin handles are in. Landrigan doors are in. The district-wide recommissioning is still in, as well as the badge readers.
So the district, the recommissioning though is a question for next week.
Yeah.
For
we'll address
operating,
that on
whether or not
Tuesday,
it's
yeah.
operating, yeah.
I'm just writing myself a note. The split units for the classroom have been tentatively removed, as well as the rooftop unit for the high school. Excuse me,
The
Woodville.
Woodville.
Oh,
Guess that's wrong. Gym floor, still in for the Woodville. The carpet for the BB library is still in. The plaza work has been removed, and the one question I have is, do you want to remove the front roof, or are we gonna hold on that?
Let's,
Again, I thought that was. a
Hold all
question for
Catherine's.
yeah, let's remove it, but if she can come next week, that'll be great. It just seems like,
Seems
I
high.
don't like throwing numbers at something that's just too high to say,
We're
yeah,
gonna have 2 guests next week,
yeah, they'll be quick. IT and library.
and FinCom.
And FinCom, well, they'll just observe and comment.
Okay.
Basically just be part of the meeting.
Okay, so cremation garden out, that'll be next year.
Okay.
Bigger project.
So next year will be more than 200.
We'll put it together, and what we'll do is right before town meeting, we'll actually probably put it out to bid. So we'll take the number to construct.
A year from now, we can approve it.
Town meeting.
Or it becomes.
Or an article.
Warrant article.
Okay.
So the ball diamonds and parks and fields, so the scope changed a little bit to include all the benches, everything in one line, including the addition of the chain link fence that Frank had brought up.
So you added 10,000 to that combo number though. It's went from 90 to 100?
100 in total.
100, okay.
100,000.
We talked about.
Okay.
The Walton School playground is in. The rest of the playgrounds have been removed. So miscellaneous, the scoreboard has been removed. We're handling that now. All of the rest of those projects are still in place. Under IT, I'm showing the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
We'll
want,
remove, we can hear them out next week. 2-4.
$245.
Okay, 245? I did it in my head though.
I just missed, 'cause I missed.
265.
Right.
I wasn't adding anything.
27.
What is it?
Hold on, let me make sure the phone.
Just select all, don't worry about it.
So if we decided we're not gonna meet tomorrow,
I think we'll talk at the end, and I think that's where we're going, just next Tuesday and Wednesday. We can also talk Wednesday before.
okay.
Is that okay, or?
Yeah, no, it's,
Oh, yeah,
I've set
again,
aside the time.
I know.
Okay. No, I mean, that's, I don't, no problem.
We're just be doing what we just did tonight,
2106.
we'll just do it again.
No problem. Whatever it takes, no worries.
What do you got it?
2106.
And that's with your screener.
Oh, now.
That's with your
Yeah, let's
screener?
vote now.
That's with your screener and that's,
But we have no siding.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the piece.
and that also has the
Right there.
John Deere on a
That-
straight
that is
purchase.
Not leasing that.
That's not,
Wow.
Right.
Just for
okay.
comparison,
Drop that down to a 3-year, yeah.
if you were to 3-year lease that, the lease payment would be 92,483. So
And that
Is there a
includes,
buyout? I'm sorry.
That's 18, that's 180 grand.
we did that with some boilers that we did just about the time you got on.
Yeah.
We made a defeasance payment because we had a good year. It's not listed in this quote, but I can ask. The buyout would essentially be, I think at this point in time, making the payment.
Right.
So let's say, just, we'll use a round number. We'll say if we did decide to lease that, we'll call it a $93,000 payment.
Now it's under 2. Yay.
We'd drop that to 1929.
does that include the BB Library front roof, 250?
This is not.
It does not.
And that siding number's gonna come in,
It's gonna come in, yeah.
if I had to throw a number.
Wait, no, it does include the BB's library's front. We were gonna question it.
No, you took it out, but we're still gonna question it.
Oh,
think he
okay.
took it out,
All right,
yeah.
he took it out, okay.
If you put it in, you're.
No, that's fine, I'm good with it. Keep it, I'm just misunderstood.
Oh, it's okay.
You're gonna send a new one anyway. I'll run my tape. I gotta run a tape because it's a good check. I know, I'm old.
I did it all day today.
What? Oh, you got the,
I do run an actual tape, yeah.
All right, so everyone's good with not meeting tomorrow, there's really no need to.
no,
Next Tuesday, we have Joe Bertrand and whoever else he's gonna bring from FinCom. Hopefully, we have IT and library. If not, then we make our decision. I mean, we could say we could vote Tuesday, but if everyone, we can keep Wednesday for now, just to come in, talk a little bit and make our final vote. Steve, which one do you have to be at? Do you have to be at the final vote or?
I don't have to be anywhere.
Okay,
Yep, your committee, you guys do a great job. No,
I don't know if it makes any difference, but next Tuesday and Wednesday.
yeah,
I may have a family commitment for some surgery that's going on.
okay.
Okay, so
You,
I'm stay on watch, basically.
Oh, yeah, you could watch.
All right, no, I mean, I'd have to probably call in.
Yeah, well, do we,
still vote.
Yeah.
You can vote.
I can vote
You can vote remotely, absolutely.
on phone.
Yeah.
so I guess the next question is, we come here or do you guys want to go Zoom or what do we want to do? What did we ask? I think Joe will do whatever. Joe Bertrand will do whatever, but what do you think, Joe? Is it easier just to Zoom in if we get the guests?
Your meeting.
like.
I want to come in, but,
I'm good for Zoom, but,
okay.
but I'm happy to meet too.
If, Steve, would who would have to do what you're doing with them?
Probably any one of you. It's not too much.
Frank, we're talking about in person or Zoom next Tuesday. What do you
It's
think?
whatever works for the
Yeah.
group, it's fine.
And you can be hybrid. You don't all have to do it. I mean, that's the beauty about this is that you can-
Jeff is on, right now, Jeff is on remote.
Joe, let me ask you this, for you, is it easier to sit at your desk and Zoom?
I'm coming in anyway.
No, you're gonna be here, but I mean, as far as
Wanna walk upstairs?
doing all your work with all your
No,
computer screens and everything.
Fine. I can print out a hard copy. This is good. The only thing, it's just a little slower because I'm dealing with a smaller screen, but
Okay,
we're fine.
let's leave it, so hybrid is okay,
Hybrid is acceptable, yep.
okay? And then Phil will know how to do what you're doing.
No.
I might come to get you.
Tire tracks on your back.
Just leave a cheat sheet right
Just leave a cheat sheet.
Do we have to let FinCom know any questions? Like, do they need to know in advance? We're gonna ask them about commissioning so they can think
I
about it?
I can tell them. I mean,
Like, I don't know.
questions every year, I feel like, so
They will just know
He-
because that's their job.
they're pretty good. If we were gonna throw a curveball at them,
Right. Okay.
I think,
Didn't want to hold up anything. If we could vote next Tuesday, that would be great. I see no need to have to meet again Wednesday just to vote, if possible.
if possible, I mean, we're looking good right now.
Yeah.
All right, so let's leave it that we will meet here, hybrid though. So the Zoom that Sherry sends out will still be the same. Is that how?
It will probably be a different, well, I don't know.
No, but it's.
Maybe a different login, but it'd be the same way.
Same click. Jeff, you clicked on the link on the Zoom?
I did, yep.
All right, so that's it?
Fine, yeah.
So there's no way for us to see people on the TV
Yes, they can.
if we do half and half?
If people put on their cameras, there you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
that is awesome. Okay, so we're gonna do is that okay with you, Jeff, doing a hybrid next Tuesday at 7:00?
Yeah, works for me.
Okay, and then at this moment, we'll keep Wednesday on, but we'll see it, play it by ear for Tuesday, maybe not. So Dan, you're gonna be able to
I'll have to call in.
at least call it though, very worst. All right, I can, if you want to call will he be able to just call without?
You can join this by phone, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, good. I may be in a waiting room someplace.
Yeah,
So no meeting tomorrow.
no meeting tomorrow and next Tuesday at 7.
Okay, excellent.
That's it. Anything else I miss or?
No,
I-
to adjourn.
All right.
Okay.
What time we got? 8:40. Is that longest meeting of the year? That was nice.